30-06 John here, and in today's video what we're working on is using the Hornady 395 grain sub-X bullets and making subsonic loads for the 450 Bushmaster. Keep on watching and I hope you enjoy the video. Hornady loads this subsonic ammunition for the 450 Bushmaster. It uses this sub-X 395 grain bullet. Now they're offering the bullet as a component for reloading, and it's a nice bullet. It's a pretty big bullet, 395 grains. Let me get this focus in here. It's a pretty nice bullet, 395 grains, .452 in diameter. Polymer tip at the top there. It says it helps in expansion. It has a cannula. Looks like it's going to be a good bullet. The real problem in loading up subsonic loads using this 395 grain bullet is finding good load data. Hornady does have some load data on their website. Unfortunately, it only goes down to 1,300 feet per second. It doesn't really say, or doesn't really go down to 1,100 or 1,050 or 1,000 feet per second, which is what we need. The first powder a lot of people think of when making subsonic loads is Hodgdon's Trail Boss. This is a very bulky powder, originally designed for cowboy action shooting. It's sort of donut looking. Hodgdon has load data for Trail Boss under their website. This is hard to read, but in summary, you find out where the bullet is going to be seated at. You make a mark. You load the case up with Trail Boss, and that's your maximum load. That's pretty easy to do, and it looks like it's going to be safe for any cartridge. So let's try that. I'm measuring the case capacity with the 395 grain bullet seated to its cannula, which gives it a cartridge overall length of 2.205. That's one of the measurements that I saw on the web. Also, an acquaintance of mine measured one of his rounds, and that's factory rounds, and that's what it was. So, yeah, I have my caliper set up for 2.205. Got the case, got the bullet there, pushed up against both sides. What I'm going to do is just put a little mark right with the Sharpie right there. That mark will wear off, so I'll put a little scribe mark there with a knife blade or a nail or something like that. So I filled the case up to the line with Trail Boss, weighed it, 11.2 grains of Trail Boss. I was reading that probably couldn't fit enough Trail Boss in the 450 Bushmaster case with the 395 grain bullet to get 1,000 feet per second. So I started to look into other powders to use. I looked at the Lyman manual for 4570 loads using for the 1873 Springfield, which is a very low pressure load. One kept popping up as IMR 4198. I have a pound of IMR 4198. It's a extruded powder, sort of thinner than most extruded powders. So I used the marked brass and measured how much IMR 4198 fits inside it up to the where the bullet is seated. Ended up being 26.2 grains of powder. So here's my two loads. Using the 395 grain Hornady sub-X bullet, 11.2 grains of Trail Boss, Remington 7.5 primer, cartridge overall length of 2.205, and the brass I'm using for both of these is Hornady small primer brass. I'll be using these Hornady 450 Bushmaster dies. It's a 4 die set. A couple of things about reloading 450 Bushmaster, even though it's a straight walled case. I don't know of anyone making carbide dies, so you do have to lubricate the cases before resizing. The other big thing to worry about is the crimp. You are taper crimping. It does headspace on the case, the mouth. I'm measuring this one right here. It's 4.78, which is okay. This one looks okay. Let's load up some more. Here's my target from my shooting session. Range I was shooting was only 50 feet. The temp was very cold. It was about 15 degrees there. The rifle that I used was the Ruger Ranch rifle with a 16-inch barrel. My shooting results for the Trail Boss was pretty good. My 3 shots made a 1 ragged hole right there at 50 feet, which is what I expected. My velocity was a very low average of 833 feet per second. And I did read that you probably can't put enough Trail Boss in that case with that 395 grain bullet to get 1,000 feet per second. So those results was about what I was expecting. For the load using IMR 4198, 2 shots were touching. 1 shot was about a ½ inch below it. I'm not sure. I mean, that was a good squeeze. They should have all been 1 hole. So that 1 shot was weird. Also, chronographing the velocities. The 1 shot was about 150 feet per second faster than the other ones. I don't know if it was my taper crimp or I don't know. But I think using IMR 4198, that's the right powder. And I think playing with it a little bit more, maybe tweaking the load, the amount of powder, or tweaking the cartridge overall length so I'm not crimping over the cannular, that would probably help. But I think this is the right powder for a subsonic load using that 395 grain bullet. Check the brass for any pressure signs. Yep, look pretty good. That's the IMR 4198 cartridges. And here's the Trail Boss. No pressure signs. So I'll be working more with this bullet, and I think I'm almost there. I think I have to tweak that IMR 4198 load a little bit, but it looks very, very encouraging. That's all that I have for today, everyone. Thanks for watching. Everyone stay safe and have a nice day.